Bitcoin hits $1 trillion market cap as it touches $52,000 while stocks get pummeled. Is Bitcoin decoupling from other risk-on assets? Gold ETFs continue dumping, while spot Bitcoin ETFs continue pumping. Will the new Bitcoin ETFs hit 1 billion in inflows in a single day before the halving? Plus, in unsurprising news, Gary Gensler joined CNBC again to spew the same rhetoric that Bitcoin is only used for terrorism, money laundering, and ransomware. And Joe Kernan wasn't having it. Will GBTC selling come back from the grave to spoil these Valentine's Day vibes? Let's get into today's episode. Welcome to the Wednesday, February 14th edition of the Bitcoin Daily Show. I'm Dante Cook, head of Swan Business. Here at Swan, we're on a mission to educate the world about Bitcoin. So please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It'll help us reach more Bitcoiners here on YouTube and cut through the noise. 50K is in the building. Bitcoin going 100,000 trillion. No one on the corner has more swagger than Bitcoiners right now, as Bitcoin passes $1 trillion market cap and the price touches $52,000. Bitcoiners will be watching Swan's live price chart on YouTube and dunking on their friends, like Vince Carter in 2000.
Vince Carter with his first stop. Let's go home. Let's go home, ladies and gentlemen.
Yesterday, we had another massive day of ETF inflows, with inflows coming in at over 631 million. That brings the total of ETF inflows since they launched to $3.8 billion. The most interesting point about yesterday wasn't that Bitcoin's price was pumping or that there were massive ETF inflows. That's been happening. What was interesting was that Bitcoin was up while all of the other risk-on assets were getting pummeled. It'll be interesting to see if the markets actually start to value and decouple Bitcoin from all of the other risk-on assets, because it's a novel, new digital technology. One thing is clear: Bitcoin is replacing physical gold as the digital gold in people's portfolios. Just take a look at gold's ETF outflows versus Bitcoin's ETF inflows since they launched on January 11th. One of the key reasons that both institutional investors as well as retail investors value Bitcoin over gold is that it removes intermediaries from knowing what assets you actually hold. One prime example of this is Bitwise, who in a move to show the full capability of Bitcoin, upgraded their wallet addresses to native SegWit addresses and also showed all of their Bitcoin funds under management on their website. This is real innovation that the TradFi system can't compete with. But instead of engaging in good faith arguments about Bitcoin's qualities versus other qualities, the old TradFi leaders, institutional leaders like Gary Gensler, continue to come on television and use the same tried and true tropes about Bitcoin only being used for criminal activity.
What do you make of, this goes to the underlying piece of this, you've heard Jamie Dimon say that he would close it down, that basically Bitcoin you've seen the comments, right? It's not just that he closed it down, that he would say it's used by drug dealers and used by folks who are doing all sorts of illicit and terrible things. There's very few things that trade today that people talk about like that. Now, there are obviously frauds and things that happen, but maybe not like this.
Like the dollar is like 100 times more.
Well, I know that's your perspective, but I'm just I'm curious how you think about that.
That's true, though. This is how much has been money laundered with Bitcoin. This is how much. This is Bitcoin. This is dollar.
Yes, Joe. But look, here's the Jamie Dimon quote. The only true use case for it is for criminals, drug traffickers, money laundering, and tax avoidance. I know, but we have a guest.
That's his opinion.
We have a guest, Joe. What is your opinion? And what is your opinion that we have something trading on the exchange for the public that has this type of use case, at least as described by the president of one of the largest financial institutions in the country?
It's the leading market share in ransomware, and that's publicly known.
Right.
It's the token of choice for ransomware. Joe, if I can say, the U.S. dollar, the euro, the yen, you have the whole society using it as a medium of exchange. We buy our cups of coffee, as I see here. Right. We get paid in dollars or yen or euro. And you have a whole central bank and support for one currency generally per economic region. That we don't have here. So there is a very real economic difference.
Which is part of the attraction, since it's decentralized, and you can't have a profligate central bank.
It's not that decentralized, Joe.
Well, I know you're saying because of the ETFs, but really it is.
No, it's
for
not
DeFi
that decentralized
and everything.
because look how finance tends towards centralization since antiquity.
Right.
So what do we have? We have a handful of 3 to 6 core so-called crypto
I understand,
exchanges.
but the asset itself, the way that
That's how the
distributed
accounting
ledger, right? That's how the ledger. And
now, how many times do you have people on this show that say, "I want to invest in something because how the books and records are kept"? I mean, Joe, really? It's just an accounting ledger. It's
a ledger that everyone has, and can't be double counted. It's almost immutable. That's why people think it has inherent value.
So you trust it more than an Oracle database, or you trust it more than
trust it more than a lot of the Bitcoin bulls say they trust it a lot more than the central bank that enables the fiscal authorities to spend money to the tune of $33 trillion.
That's everybody's investment choice, but
and then I think about how many things can be used in a deleterious way. Of course, but that has nothing to do with the underlying thing that you're using itself. I mean, I can go run a car into a parade and run over 40 people. That doesn't mean we shouldn't have cars, does it?
No. You should have cars.
I wasn't going to use guns because, God, I don't want to trigger, so to speak, anyone on the set. But
when the use case of a particular thing that you're buying and selling as an investment is just speculative investment.
How many of the 90% of the people that own Bitcoin are using it for ransomware? There must be another use case that makes it so attractive to so many people.
Speculative investing.
Right.
Shout out to Joe Kernan for continuing to fight the good fight. It's amazing to see how far Gary Gensler has fallen from his days as a professor at MIT, where he taught a course on Bitcoin. Gary's comments about people don't invest in things because of how the books are kept or the records are kept shows just how little that he understands about what the innovation of Bitcoin truly is. Does he not understand that this is exactly what banks do today? Is JP Morgan not investable? Because the last that I checked, banks close at 5 p.m. local time so they could update their ledgers to show who owns what and show the debits and credits flowing in and out of different accounts. That's ledgers and accounting, isn't it? Bitcoin's triple entry accounting is the most important innovation in finance since the advent of accounting itself. Bitcoin's time chain speaks truth to power every time a new block is made. We're all about speaking truth to power on this show. And one of the ways that Bitcoin has been misconstrued in the media is about how much it pollutes the environment. Actually, here's the truth. According to Daniel Batten, without government help, Bitcoin actually offsets 7.5% of methane that would be emitted in the atmosphere if it wasn't here. Whereas in the fiat world, you have Travis Kelce, who just won a Super Bowl and has more endorsements than politicians trying to get reelected right now, could not produce his own movie without Biden's green tax energy credits to fund his endeavors. I don't know what this movie's going to be about, but I got to give the conspiracy theorists a bone on this one. This does not look very good. Back to the truth. About a week ago, we highlighted a group of Bitcoiners speaking to the Missouri House of Representatives about fair and just treatment of Bitcoin companies in their state. And just today, the Satoshi Action Fund announced that the state of Missouri has passed a bill that will protect their citizens' rights to buy, mine, and self-custody Bitcoin. Speaking truth to power actually works. Don't be afraid to do it. While we're riding on a high right now, I think it's important that we stay humble. I'll use Travis Kelce as an example. Although he's an incredible player, he's the greatest tight end to ever play the game of football. And he's actually a testament to battling through adversity, getting kicked off of his college team, being let back on, and then now becoming an all-pro Super Bowl winning tight end. And he's also a testament to being loyal to family, as him and Jason have one of the best relationships that a brother could ever ask for. But you know what was one of the most disappointing things about the Super Bowl? Andy Reid had a great opportunity to humble Travis Kelce. Screaming at a coach is never okay. And you know what? With Bitcoin at over 50K, we're having our moment in the sun right now, like Stephen Lupka and Andrew Huberman. But there will be coming a time where we need to be humbled. So we can humble ourselves or we can be humbled by outside circumstances. Here's a couple stats that'll humble you. The last time government tax receipts fell this fast and by this much, we had recessions in 2001 and in 2008. The last time we saw bank credit fall this fast and this low, we had a great financial crisis. I mean, today, one of the largest exporters of wood pellets in the world, a company that does over $1 billion in revenue with 1,500 employees, is on the brink of bankruptcy. And yesterday, bankrupt crypto casino Genesis won the bankruptcy court's permission to sell 35 million shares of GBTC worth $1.3 billion, which may spell more selling of GBTC, whose outflows have been going down for the past 10 days. Stay humble. Although we came for the number go up technology, we're staying for the freedom go up technology. And remember what newspaper article was printed in the Genesis block when Bitcoin launched in 2009? Don't forget about where Bitcoin came from. When the price crashes, and believe me, it will, remember to stay humble and buy the dip. But until then, go dunk on a few friends for me. And with that, we're signing off for the day. This is Dante Cook with Swan.com. Happy stacking. And just for the record, I've got Mac McClung going back-to-back this year. 2024 Dunk Champion.